Okay, hello, Kate. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Hey.
How nice to like meet in video person.
Yeah, I feel I know you like for a long time because we've been chatting a lot, and all this that's awesome. Yeah.
I love it. So let's just dive right in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your work, what kind of work you specialize in, and yeah, and then how learning to use natural light has transitioned your work because you've made some huge changes since
I
starting the
know.
missing
I
link.
know. Yeah, so my name is Kate and I'm a newborn and family photographer and I'm based in Chicago where we have like 6 months of winter if you don't know. And I actually look back and I think I took your course like 7 months ago, which for me right now I was surprised because for me it feels like a lifetime ago because I have so many changes, in my business and my work, and it's been insane since I took the course. So
Yeah, you've done so many cool things. So tell us about that change. So where were you 7 months ago and what's
yeah,
happened since?
so 7 months. So I found your account on Richard's Lab actually,
Oh,
and I
okay.
was looking to meaning Hosovia because for like so Richard's Lab is a film lab which you use for your scans, and I use for mine too. Although I shoot digital a lot with strobes, so I was looking through their profiles and I found your work, and then I didn't realize even that you're shooting with strobes at first, and I was like I started to follow you on Instagram, and then all this behind the scenes stuff that you were showing about your lighting setup, I would skip them. I would just like not watch them because it would stress me out because I didn't know all this, 45-degree angles, like light modifiers, all this stuff which I didn't know. So I would just like skip them. But then you launched your course and I was like, maybe I should learn that. And I took the course and it's been nonstop learning since then. And I just opened my studio 2 months ago, which I didn't even like honestly considered like being natural light photographer because, like like being natural light photographer means that you depend on light, um, which I did. And for studio, I didn't need it. But right now, my goal is actually to shoot only with strobes. And yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so before you were just a natural light photographer
Yeah.
and you were playing the game that we all do when we're natural light photographers where you're relying on the weather and you're limited to when you can take sessions and you're stressed out every time you go into somebody's home and it's dark and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
so many cancellations because last year in Chicago we had like horrible winter. Maybe you've heard about this
Mhm.
popular vortex that we had. It was like really 7 months of like dark and gloomy weather. And although I back then I shot a lot of in people's houses, but still we would always, like go with clients, oh, should we just wait another week? And I shoot a lot of times on weekends because of the
Mhm.
schedules of my clients. So for me, that means I'm not just scheduling sessions like one day or postponing session 1 or 2 days. It's like a whole week, and that means I don't have this income, which is
Mhm.
like which I was like counting on. So it was like really stressful. Yeah,
Yeah. And so now that you have a studio and you are controlling your own light, you're in charge,
yeah.
right? So you can have clients come to you. It doesn't matter what it's doing outside. It doesn't matter how dark it is. It doesn't matter what time of day it is.
And I was actually thinking, I have like my studio is very small. It's only
Yeah.
450 square feet, but then I do have like four big windows, but it's north facing and I don't get a lot of light. So if I were like still natural light photographer, I wouldn't even go for this studio because, it's like I don't like to crank up my ISO because for me, I print a lot of clients' work like in big, like 20 by 30 canvases, and you do see like when you look in on your iPhone, it doesn't really matter when you use like high ISO, but when you print them big, that's where you can see like everything very clearly. And so for me, it wouldn't just, it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
So
even with the big windows. I'm like that. I have a daylight studio that I'm in right now, and I have these huge south facing windows. But I mean, there are most days during the winter where even with these giant windows, there's no way I could do the work that I do.
Yeah, and actually I have funny story because when I didn't plan to buy your course at first, but I'm like, I'm gonna watch webinar and just I'm going to take a look what she has to say about all of that. And then you were going through like a roll of film and explaining how you edit, and then there was like one frame where like flash didn't fire or something, and you took it with natural light. And in close comparison to other pictures, it was almost like I was looking at that picture through like a dirty window or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the moment I decided that, yeah, that's I have to learn how to get this like crisp, clean pictures,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm obsessed with right now. I just love that it's very, just my work is really elevated, and I just love it. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
remember you sent me a text about that because I didn't really even point it out, but you were like, listen, those like the natural light photos they don't look even. They don't have those tones to them, right? Like that's that secret that.
you don't realize that until you compare exactly the same picture to like one natural light and then one with like artificial light, and they look differently. And for me, it was like huge difference. And to this day, I'm so excited about my work, about editing all the time. Like after having like a shoot in the studio, I'm like very excited to edit. Although, because I got my studio in the end of September, and I did have a lot of sessions scheduled still outdoor from the summer. And I was just like, it took me forever to edit them, to like, I was really like battling weather, wind, like fighting hair, all this like light which just come up and down, or everything. And it's just not consistent, not time efficient. I mean,
Mhm.
so yeah.
And I bet your editing is cut in half.
Yeah, that's the actually. I just post my Santa session,
I
so
know. I want to talk to you about those
yeah.
because they're amazing.
Thank
But
you so
yeah.
much for all your feedbacks, guys. You're like, just yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. I have to say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was dying to talk to you about these because you knocked your Santa pictures out of the park. And in my webinar, I talk about how once I learned lighting, and even when I was shooting digitally, using lights made my work so consistent and cut my editing down so much that I was able to do these mini sessions where I could just back to back sessions. And what that enabled is that I was having these 10K days because I was able to the way the flow was so much easier. And I get so many comments about that, and some of them are not nice, where people are calling me a liar and there's no way you can make that kind of money and work that fast and all that stuff. But then you just
yeah.
had these Santa mini sessions,
Well, first of
and
all, it was the first
you're
year.
on track to make that kind of money next year, woman.
I was like, yeah, that was my first year, and actually, I just booked my Santa in August, and so I only booked 4 hours. And people would still like come to me, after I was like sold out my sessions. They would like, "Can you fit me in?" But I couldn't. But like last year, I think I would just double that. Like I'll do
Oh,
another.
absolutely. So can you tell us, are you comfortable telling us what you made in 4 hours?
Yeah. So right as of now, like 6K.
That's incredible. It actually gives me goosebumps.
Yeah,
And
I feel like can't believe that because yeah, it's just
that's what I'm talking about. And would you have been able to do that even in your studio if you were just using natural light?
No, because you know what I feel. So first of all of like 29 clients, they're all like just raving about the pictures, and they're like, "Oh my god, it was so great, so fast." And then we love the pictures, and then so it was a little bit difficult to do. But then what happened, I just literally just locked my settings on the camera because
Because your light's the same. Yeah.
yeah, because my light is the same. I put my son on like one chair, and basically he like did move a little bit, but it didn't matter. So, and my editing, so I did them on Sunday, and then Thursday morning I already like delivered 29 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, so I priced them high enough, but then I was thinking, okay, so I promised 5 images. I'm going to offer them an upgrade because I got so many great images. They were like 10 minutes long, because I didn't worry, about like settings and stuff. I just gave my full attention to kids, which is sometimes stressful. It's like little kids crying. And even with like kids who were crying, we were still able to capture some amazing images. So all of them almost upgraded to full sessions, which
Yep.
put me to even like higher, amount of money made. So it's incredible. And I was really happy too. I'm just like, I'm looking at these images and I'm like, oh my God, I love it.
Well, they're beautiful. But I mean, I just like, you have no idea how happy this makes me. And I want to tell people like, see, I'm not lying. This is what happens. And this is the power of learning to control light. I think so many people get this story in their heads about how artificial lighting is so hard and it's so expensive and it's scary and all these things that I hear. But what I feel like it's my mission in life to tell people is like, no, it's actually really easy and it's really empowering. And yeah, there's an initial investment up front, but you are going to make back that money in like a month.
But even with that, like I personally bought so my first strobe L&B, I bought it used on eBay. I bought used receivers. I already had light meter, so I just bought my like 50 by 50 Vestcode, which is really affordable. I think total I just spent like $400 for that.
Yeah. And then the class, so under 1,000 for everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you just made 6,000 in 4 hours.
Yeah, and that. Yeah, that was actually even before that when I was going to I do a lot of newborns and I used to go to people's home and I would do it there. And sometimes our clients, I think they think that photographers are magicians or something. Sometimes I would go and there's one client, she didn't have windows in her bedroom, and she's like, well, but aren't you a photographer? Can you just make it work? I'm like, all right. And I did use my light, thankfully, but I was just thinking, okay, what if I didn't have my light? What did I have to say? Or like, I can do that, or I would have to like squish her to the window, but that wouldn't be a good option for newborn. So it is really helpful to have light.
I mean, I just love your story so much. So 7 months, everything's changed. Your whole business has changed. Yeah. Your work is stunning. Yours is the kind of work I look at and I get a little annoyed that I didn't take the photos.
And listen, it's not like, as I mentioned, for me, I would skip your stories before, because for me, I'm a creative person. I hate talking about like angles, all those degrees, all this technical stuff. It's a lot of new information to learn, but once you learn it, it is much easier to shoot with strobes than in natural light. Natural light, will teach you a lot of things actually, because light, as you say, light is light, right? But then once you learn all this like technical stuff, it is very easy. It's just like, yeah, very easy.
And honestly, go ahead.
Yeah, and you have this quality. For me, I feel like my work, clients also would tell me all the time that like your style changed so much, because they can't obviously tell because they're not photographers, but they're like, I just love your pictures so much. What do you do right now? It's like different, especially returning clients, and it's just elevated my brand so much. And it feels like I do IPS right now, and I finally feel that I'm really happy where like right now that I can offer like really high quality images to my clients and charge them accordingly, because they're studying to me to my clients, and in their head it's not a question, it's just a question, can they afford it or not? Well,
it's like it's elevated your brand.
Yeah.
And now that your photos are so consistent, what you're going to find, because you're so new into this, I can see where this is going for you. But what's exciting is like you've been able to get that consistency in your work. And so now your clients are going to start showing their friends. They're going to want that look. And the fact that you can recreate that look any day, under any circumstance, no matter what's happening with crazy Chicago weather, is going to elevate your brand and your business. I can't even wait. Next year, let's talk this time next year because I want to hear what happens. Okay.
Yeah. And then this consistency thing also, I was thinking consistency only relates to like your images being consistent. But that's actually, it's much more. It's like
Mm-hmm.
your editing is consistent, your workflow is consistent, your time frame is really consistent. Like everything is really straightforward. Like you don't have to spend so much time, to achieve this consistency because you don't depend on environment. You create your own environment right now, so you don't have to like spend so much time, and struggle through like dark days.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, last question. I could talk to you all day. You're so fun. So last question I have to ask. So there's a lot of people that come into the webinar or on the Facebook group, and they're really nervous, where they're like, gosh, I keep seeing other people posting about the missing link, and I'm seeing these incredible images, but I don't know if it's for me, or I'm a digital shooter, so it's not for me, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. Like I hear all the excuses in all the world on why it's not for them. What would you say to somebody who is feeling nervous? Because you almost didn't take the class, so you're a
Yeah,
perfect person to ask.
I actually PM you on Instagram, like because you had this deadline. I think first time you launched the course,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't buy it, and then actually I think you closed your door on Sunday, and then on Monday I actually brought you like, oh, can I still buy the course? I think I have to make it work. Yeah, and I would say just do that. Don't wait for this like perfect moment because this perfect moment may never come. You have to. Um, Also, it's not that you're going to invest in equipment, you're going to buy a course, and then boom, your images suddenly overnight will be great. It's still a learning curve, so you have to have some time to find your style with strobes too, and it takes time. So don't like postpone because like slow season is coming right now, so I feel it's a perfect time for learning. I personally going also planning to buy like some other stuff, some other courses to learn, and then just do that now. I feel like it's a good time. It's for sure it's an investment, but I feel it's an investment you will never regret making. I feel, yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good, and it is. I mean, it's changed a lot of things for me, like tremendously, like 180 degrees. So and maybe it will change for you too a lot of things. I don't
It
know.
will. And would you have to say to people who are worried that they're going to get in too deep and they're not going to know what to do? Because I always tell people, I'm like, listen, I'm available. Like that's part of who I am. I'm really
Well, actually,
supportive.
that,
Like, so what do you tell people who are worried
yeah,
about that?
yeah. Forget to mention what I love about your course. First of all, that the modules in your course are very like short and packed with goodies. Like I bought a lot of courses in the past when like one module takes like hour and 40 minutes. And for me, in my season of life with two little kids, being like busy photographer, I don't have this time to sit and digest like hours of information. So what I love about your course that they are very manageable segments, and to this day actually I'm able to just sometimes go back to one particular like topic which I need, for instance like measuring for film. I just go ahead and like watch this little segment. So that was incredible for me. And actually I did finish your course, which is also you can totally relate right now that you like so much stuff we're buying, we don't finish that.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, and then I love that you're always available and in your Facebook groups. I don't know how you do that because it's so time consuming, but you can always chat, like ask you questions, and it's almost feels like mentoring, not just like buying course. So
Mm-hmm.
that's huge bonus for me.
Oh, I love hearing that. And yeah, that's actually me. People ask me all the time, like, is that automated? Do you have an assistant in there? Like, no, that's me.
Yeah, and I love that you're cheering students, and it's amazing because again, in the past you know, it wasn't the case with other courses I bought. So just yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you decided to do it, even though you were like, no, this isn't for me. I'm not a technical person. Turns out you are.
And I have like zero experience. I didn't even use Flash, so
Yeah.
and I'm shooting digital. I'm not shooting. I'm shooting film for personal stuff, but I'm still not there because I'm shooting a lot of kids, so I'm kind of scared to use film. Um, but I found my style in editing,
Hmm.
where I feel like my images are really can mimic like film look,
Hmm.
and it's fully digital. I mean, you can totally have this soft, glowy images on digital. You don't have to use it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
shot digital. I'm writing a book, and because of the time frame on the book, we had to get to, I shot a lot of digital, and people can't tell. I mean, it doesn't matter the medium. It just matters the technique and what works for you. And I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people, because I'm a film shooter, they think that they have to be film shooters to get something out of the class. And it's like, no, you don't. It really is for anybody.
In my opinion, digitals usually will be a little bit more like a little bit darker and with more contrast, but you can totally do like fix
Hmm.
that in post processing, so
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, and you can still have this awesome look. And a lot of my clients, they would never guess that it was taken with artificial light.
Oh, same. My clients come in all the time and tell me that they booked me because they love the natural light look
Yeah,
that I have.
natural light.
That I use natural light. And then I'm like, surprise! It's giant strobe.
Sure.
Well, Kate, I'm just so inspired by your success and by your beautiful images. And thank you. I know you're very busy, and thank you for taking time to talk to me today. I can't wait to share your story with everybody because I think it's so inspiring.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
Kate.
you. Have a good day.